Hello and welcome. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Tech24. Coming up on the program, Silicon Valley's reputation problem. Uber, Snapchat, and Facebook are all under scrutiny for the way they're handling business. Is the controversy merely a coincidence, or might this be a sign of mounting public fatigue against the tech industry darlings? Also in this edition, a test of Chipolo, which helps you track your lost keys, wallet, backpack with your smartphone. I'm sorry. Words of Uber CEO Travis Kalanick attempting to cleanse his company of another PR nightmare. From accusations of sexism, strong-arming drivers, and tampering with the funding round of a competitor, Uber has received its fair share of criticism. The latest episode, Senior Vice President Emil Michael suggested taking revenge on journalists who speak out against the app, stating that the company, I quote, was ready to spend $1 million to pry into the private lives of reporters and spy on their families. Dan and Jake Kadilkar. By now, Uber should be well versed with its apologies, but all we saw this week was Kalanick taking to Twitter. 13 tweets, is that enough? Is the fact that Michael was not even fired, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, given the deluge of criticism that Uber has received because of these reported remarks, it isn't surprising that the CEO had to come to Twitter and explain his company's position and apologize to the journalist. But despite tweeting 13 times, the main question has been left unaddressed. In this deluge of criticism, everyone was, or majority of them were asking that the concerned senior executive be sacked, or at least some action be taken against him, but we haven't heard anything about it yet. I think the reason why there was a very strong reaction this time was because Uber has been involved in a series of controversies. Even now, besides this executive, there's another executive who's being investigated for tracking a journalist without the latter's permission. And of course, we knew about the alleged sabotage of Uber's competitors, some of these practices that the company used. So yeah, it's a big deal, and I think, or I hope that something comes out in terms of action to be taken against the executive, because Uber now has to really win back the trust of the people. It's a big company, it has a lot of users, so it needs to show that it can act responsibly as well.
Now, Snapchat is preparing to release a money transfer service. The new feature, called Snap Cash, is the result of a partnership with Square. But why are people having trouble trusting Snapchat? Can the app, better known for teen sexting and data breaches, learn from its mistakes and earn the credibility to expand into mobile payments? Dan, will this work?
I hope it works, because it's a great idea, it's a great concept, it's a great feature to make cash transfers easy. It's very simple to use. And I think it will give the company, an enhanced profile of not just being a messaging company, but also a cash transfer company. So its profile will broaden considerably. And it has tied up with Square, which is a reputed company in online payments. So all things are positive for Snapchat or for the Snap Cash. But the problem persists in the sense of perception of people. There's some skepticism because of the recent episodes of 100,000 photos and videos of Snapchat users being leaked. Of course, Snapchat said that it was the result of it was the fault of a third-party app, and it was not their fault per se. But in the past also, there have been instances where more than 4 million users and their matching numbers were leaked online. So Snapchat will also have to work towards gaining the trust of users to ensure that people, start putting their faith in it and actually transfer money and not just photos and videos.
Yeah, it's all about trust, isn't it? Now, Facebook's new data use policy claims to focus on explaining how the service works in simpler, clearer language. But as usual with Facebook, there's an unstated business goal to sell even more advertising based on the large amount of personal data that the social network has on its 1.3 billion users. What's noticeably absent from the new privacy explanations is the simple fact that Facebook users have very little control over how their information is used in advertising, right? The company has the right to use this information on and off its service.
Yeah, the new policy is not exactly new. It's more of a condensed policy. It will make it easier for people to go through it, to understand what this policy is all about. But you're right, even now, as in the past, Facebook has the right on users' information to for targeted ads. Basically, you cannot. It's not surprising that the policy has continued to be the same, because this is their business model. They cannot cede control of information to users, and this will disrupt their model. So I'm not surprised if they are continuing with the same policy.
Are all these stories merely coincidental, or is this part of a bigger thing, like a public collective fatigue?
Well, at least we have to consider that everyone has now got smartphones. They have iPads or different tablets. So they are more involved in these day-to-day activities concerning tech companies. So if there's a controversy, of course, people will get more involved and there'll be more resentment. But it's been happening in the past. It will happen now. It will continue to happen in the future. But there's a bright side to it as well. You know, like WhatsApp, they are going to introduce an end-to-end encryption program or system which will make messaging more secure. At the same time, Apple, in its iOS software, they have made stronger encryption, so it will be very difficult for anyone, including Apple, to access the phone without the passcode. Similar, the same thing is with Lollipop, Android's Lollipop system. Yeah, so I think there's a positive side to it, but it's true. There is a fatigue because of the popularity. There's a greater resentment to such negative stories. So I think companies in general have to act more responsibly.
All right, thanks for that, Dhananjay. We're going to move on now. Up next is Test 24. Chipolo helps you locate keys, wallet, backpack, cat, dog, you name it. Dhananjay tested it for us. How does it work, and what did you think?
Well, basically, this is a Bluetooth device, a chip, which you can either slip into your wallet or you can attach it to, say, phone or some other objects. Because it is Bluetooth enabled, you have an app from which you can detect this object if it gets lost. So, for example, here, it can be detected either by using sound or by its location. So, if it's in the Bluetooth range, you can use the sound feature. For example, here, if your set of keys is missing somewhere, you press this red button, you see a trumpet icon, you press on it, and you hear the sound. So, you can locate it with the sound. In case your object is out of the Bluetooth range, which is around 30 meters, then you use the location feature, in which you press this button and you see where your object is located. So it's a very we lose so many things where you're always annoyed if we don't find it, whether they're close to us or not. So this is a very useful app. It works the other way around as well. So if your phone is lost and you don't know where it is and you're desperately trying to find out, and you're connected to this chipolo, so you just shake this chipolo and you get a notification where the phone is. You can hear the sound and you can easily track the phone. So it's a very useful app, knowing how many devices we have these days, and it's a bit annoying to take care of all of them, and especially when it gets lost. So
great idea for like a Christmas present to my mother, for example, who's always losing something. Price range, how much?
This costs 25 euros. It will be launched just before Christmas. Right now it's available online in the stores. So yeah, I think it's an interesting gift for Christmas as well.
All right, thanks for that, Dhananjay. And that's all we have time for. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Tech 24. You can get in touch with us on Facebook or on Twitter. Our hashtag is Tech24. And we leave you today with images of a glow-in-the-dark cycle path, part of the Smart Highways project by Dutch designer Dan Rosengard. The glowing path was inspired at Vincent van Gogh's painting, The Starry Night. Thanks for watching, and stay with us here on France 24.